Let me tell you. Um, so here's the weird thing. You have AR and then you got VR, and on the VR side you have all the headsets that are mainstream right now for the most part. Oculus Go, anything really that consumers actually have, or companies have. Walmart has 17,000 Oculus Go's, right? Most companies go for that type of headset. These don't have eye tracking. These don't have skin temperature gadgets. These don't have EEG sensors, right? And so, the biometric data that is possible to capture in VR and definitely for AR is basically not really available for most creators and most consumers and most employees. So we were wondering, and our challenge was, how do we allow biometric insights to come into the bottom layer of the mainstream devices and allow some kind of what would I call it? I would call it psychosomatic insights, like insights that are available from body language alone. So what we realized is the challenge we wanted to answer was this: you have years and years of behavioral studies of rats, of monkeys, of even human beings, and neuroscientists have been able to correlate body language into emotional insights. There was always parallels, and this is a typical thing you would just naturally say yes to. You go, oh, it makes sense that body language plays a big part and in how we express ourselves and communicate, because that's what we all know. But what does that really mean? And so what we've found out is that the devices like the Oculus Go, it's capturing 16 different data points that tracks your body movements. 16, 9 from the headset and 7 from the controller. 16 different, like accelerometry, for example. That's one of the 16. And that's not tracking necessarily your body gestures like my grandma when she's really, really excited. We're talking about these 16 the channels of body capture are essentially tracking your autonomic nervous system, the part of your body that you're unconscious of and subliminal on, the very, very micro gestures and micro motions and subtle movements and changes of frequency. The devices are able to listen at such a level. Oculus Go is quite noisy, but the more HoloLens and the more sophisticated devices, they're even more and more able to listen to a very fine amount, so that we can perhaps create mathematical models using this neuroscience research as the rubric in order to allow us to translate that subliminal body language into psychographics, so that we can know if someone is engaged, if someone is agitated, if someone is perhaps bored out of their mind. So that's the challenge. The challenge is, I had a call with Mike Ambender of Valve Research earlier this week.
Wow.
I've been in talks with the Oculus guys. I've been in talk with, there's people out there that are doing the same thing we're doing, but they're using EEG, they're using eye tracking, they're using a combination of EEG and eye tracking. And even us, we are incorporating eye tracking and EEG. But right now, we use that as a back-end validator. We want to be able to say, can biometric data, just raw biometric data that the devices are all collecting right now, can that be put into churned through mathematical models in the form of biometric algorithms, which we're calling right now neurometrics? Can those neurometrics infer, they can give probabilities and scoring that says this person is so-and-so in this kind of emotional mood, And can EEG and eye tracking also, in parallel, confirm and validate that that's also their conclusion? That's our work. Our work is like, we're not about competing with other biometrics. We want to combine with them. We want to support them, but we don't want the base level of content creators out there, which is the case right now, having nothing of biometric data. They don't have any. So we're trying to say, can the body step in and be the lowest layer of the pyramid? And as you have more sophisticated devices and more additional biometric channels in play, it gets more and more accurate. No one wants. I would never want someone to just use body language as the only biometric insights, but I would want them to have it rather than nothing. And ultimately, I think the work that we're doing right now and I can't see anybody else doing similar stuff in the startup community. I can see them doing it in the locked rooms and in some of these big players.
Universities.
Yeah, universities, but I don't see them so many in the startup place because that's really hard to survive financially when you're in research mode rather than like immediate commercial mode.